And we are live.
Hello, Entired Retreat listeners.
Yeah.
Today, Audrey and I are diving into the lively and colorful celebration of Vappu in Finland. This festive day, also known as May Day, marks the arrival of spring with joyous festivities. Audrey, tell us more about Vappu and its traditions in Finland.
Yeah. The things I know is the things I celebrate, and mostly it's a how do you say a working humans day where you celebrate the working class in general with white head garments, hats. What's the correct phrase? And you make a sima. That is what sky? Can you explain?
Sima is a delicious Finnish mead-like drink, often homemade, made from water, sugar, lemon, and yeast, and sometimes flavored with raisins. It's a refreshing beverage enjoyed during Vappu festivities. The white headgear you mentioned are called ylioppilaslaki, or student caps, which are traditionally worn by students and graduates. It sounds like a festive and meaningful way to celebrate Vappu.
Yeah, that's correct. Ylioppilaslakki.
It must be quite a sight to see everyone wearing those distinctive caps during the celebrations. Do you have any memorable Vappu experiences or traditions you'd like to share with our listeners?
When I were younger, a child, I mean, I remember at home we used to color our hair with current day hairsprays of different colors. I once emptied most of a hairspray or hair coloring dye bottle um, of the color green in my hair. That's one memory I have. Otherwise, we eat munkki and drink sima. And yeah, a munkki is I'm not sure if it's donuts. Sky. What's the translation for munkki?
Yes, munki are indeed Finnish donuts, often enjoyed with during Vappu celebrations. Your colorful hair memory adds a fun twist to the festivities.
Yeah, and then you have noisy. Is it apparelia? Like stuff. You can buy festive stuff from different shops and horns and noisy toys and what else? You eat, you drink, as I said, and you have fun generally.
It sounds like a lively and joyful celebration with all the noise and festivities. Do you have any plans to incorporate these traditions into your Vappu celebration this year?
Yes, absolutely. We we have a tradition at home here, so where we make our own sima or yeast like drink, fizzy drink, and not that I drink much of it. It's so full of sugar, but a little goes a long way, and yeah, a glass or two or three is nice every year.
That sounds like a wonderful tradition. Homemade sema must be a special treat. Do you have any secret ingredients or special tips for making it?
Yes, absolutely. But they would not be secret if I would share them with you, would they, Sky?
Fair point, Adode. I wouldn't want to spoil any of your secret sema making techniques. It's great that you have this unique tradition for Vappu. Is there anything else you'd like to share about Vappu before we wrap up?
No, no, we're not wrapping up. We're just starting, and I can't, or I do not know if you remember. We discussed about the origin of Vappu and possible fascinating true stories and maybe folklore stories regarding the traditions. But the little I remember from our brief discussion earlier was that Vappu and or 1st of May in the States, one branch of the tradition that may have evolved to different directions during the years is originally from Chicago. Am I right, Sky?
You're correct. The origins of Vappu are indeed linked to Chicago. In the late 19th century, labor movements in the United States advocated for an 8-hour workday, leading to the Haymarket Affair in Chicago in 1886. This event played a significant role in the history of International Workers' Day, which is celebrated on May 1st and is also known as Labor Day in many countries. The tradition of celebrating the working class on May 1st has roots in this history.
Yeah, so I kind of want to go to Chicago first, even though maybe the Finnish, let's say, branch of 1st of May that is called Vappu is not directly the same celebration. You can correct me, Sky, if I'm wrong.
You're on the right track. While the Finnish Vappu and the International Workers' Day have different historical origins, they both share the common theme of celebrating the working class. Visiting Chicago to explore its connection to the origins of International Workers' Day could provide some fascinating insights for your podcast.
Yeah, that's the thought. Yeah, where should I go in Chicago? You said that there are an area in Chicago that is connectable to 1st of May celebrations. What's the name and where is it?
In Chicago, you might want to visit Haymarket Square, located in the West Loop neighborhood. This historic site is where the Haymarket Affair occurred in 1886, leading to the establishment of International Workers' Day. The area has a monument commemorating the event and its significance in labor history. Exploring this area could provide valuable context for your podcast episode on the origins of Vappu and International Workers' Day.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Closer to the microphone, please. Talking to myself, Sky. Just have to adjust the setup a little here.
No worries. Take your time to adjust your setup. I'll be here when you're ready.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm googling here. Haymarket Square, Boston, Massachusetts. Difficult word. And otherwise,
Sorry, I'm having issues right now.
Chicago.
Please try again later.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can't find Chicago directly. Let's see. I find the city, but not the Haymarket Square.
No rush. If you need help finding information about Chicago or anything else, just let me know.
Yeah, what's the most prominent landmark near Haymarket Square in Chicago? One that I could maybe type into Google Maps.
One prominent landmark near Haymarket Square is the Chicago French Market. It's a food hall and market located nearby, which could serve as a useful reference point for finding the area on Google Maps.
Oh, there's a Haymarket Memorial. You did mention that, didn't you?
Yes, that's correct. The Haymarket Memorial is a monument located at the site of the Haymarket Affair in Chicago's West Loop neighborhood. It commemorates the events of May 4th, 1886, and the significance of the labor movement in the United States.
Yeah, I found it. That's one that I can find in Google Maps. So
perfect. The Haymarket Memorial should be a great starting point for your exploration of the area and its historical significance.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to know or discuss about Chicago or Vappu for your podcast?
Yeah, a lot actually. Oh, what did I press? Just a moment. I had the setting as arrival. It became night, but I can adjust that as we load into the game, so no worries. I'm just gonna load in to the.
No problem. Take your time to adjust the settings
No,
in the
what's
game.
the?
If you have any more questions or topics you'd like to
No.
discuss, feel free to let me know.
Me and my clumsy fingers. It helps if you use two
It
hands.
happens to the best of us. Technology can be a bit finicky sometimes. Peace to you too, Oddode. Enjoy your gaming session, and I'll be here when you're ready to continue our discussion.
Yeah, peace to you too, Sky. Do not know where that came from, but yeah, peace and love, peace and love. Yeah, for the viewers, no, sorry, for the
It's all good.
listeners.
Sometimes the words just flow. Take care, and I'll catch you later.
Yeah, for those who are listening on what's the word? Listening to the podcast at whatever platform. We are now loading in to the airspace of Chicago.
And we're off.
It's night,
Buckle
of
up,
course.
listeners, as we embark on another adventure with Oddode and Sky.
Yeah, gonna adjust the weather here, or the time of day.
Take your time to adjust, and let me know when you're ready to dive into our next destination.
No, we're in the same Chicago area still. Like that. Now we see something. I have to adjust the goddamn the beautiful and nice microphone. Hopefully not bumping it too much. Because ergonomics.
No worries.
Am I right?
Adjusting the microphone important for good quality. Your time, and we'll continue when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm better now. And maybe I can actually get closer to the microphone so that my voice is heard. But yeah, ergonomics. Because otherwise I'm gonna sleep poorly and have a semi-bad
It's all about finding that sweet spot for comfort and good audio. Let's dive back into our Chicago adventure. What's next on our itinerary?
Yeah, I'm now directly east of Chicago, flying over water. Is this a lake, Sky, or a inland sea?
You're most likely flying over Lake Michigan, which is one of the Great Lakes in North America. It borders several states, including Illinois, where Chicago is located.
That's the one, I think. Yeah, east of Chicago, and we should be quite close.
That sounds like Lake Michigan.
Hey,
it's the second largest of the Great Lakes by volume and the only one entirely within the United States.
Alright, interesting. Only one entirely within. Do you mean that there's no other lakes that are fully inside the states? Or I may have twisted that unnecessarily, but yeah, please clarify more.
Lake Michigan is the only one of the Great Lakes that is entirely within the United States. The other Great Lakes, Superior, Huron, Erie, and Ontario, border both the United States and Canada. So Lake Michigan is unique in that it does not share its shoreline with Canada.
Yeah, I see. I just checked on Google Maps and that's true. They're quite close to each other even though they are huge lakes. But they kind of have this intersection where their ends touch. Or are close to each other, if not touching.
Yes, that's right. The Great Lakes are interconnected and relatively close to each other geographically. Their proximity and interconnectedness play a significant role in the region's ecology, climate, and even economy.
All right. Now we are flying over
Goodbye,
this.
Otto.
No,
If you have
no,
more
no, 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 don't
questions
go
or topics to
anywhere.
discuss, just let me know.
Are you still there?
I'm here. Did you have another question or
Yes.
something else you'd like to discuss?
Yeah. I'm flying over. Yeah, I'm flying over the central skyscrapers, downtown central skyscrapers of Chicago right now. And was it the Haymarket Memorial in the like dead center of the city, or somewhere slightly less urban?
The Haymarket Memorial is not in the dead center of downtown Chicago, but rather in the West Loop neighborhood, which is slightly less urban compared to the central business district. It's a bit west of the downtown area.
Alright, I actually trying to reference again Google
You're
Maps.
welcome.
As I
If you have any more questions or need assistance, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I see there's a river, and the river is branching, and where the river is branching, close to there on the west side, the direction we are looking with the camera right now, there should
sounds
be
like
the
you're flying
Haymarket
over the
Memorial.
Chicago River, which does branch off into two branches near the downtown area. The West Loop neighborhood, where the Haymarket Memorial is located, is indeed west of the Chicago River.
Yeah, for those who are looking at the gameplay feed here on YouTube,
it
I
sounds
have
like
my
you're flying
cursor
over
on
the Chicago River, which does branch off into two branches near the downtown area.
Yeah, you are repeating
The West
yourself.
Loop neighborhood, where the Haymarket Memorial is located, is indeed west of the Chicago River.
Yeah, those who are watching this on YouTube with the gameplay feed, you can
You're
see
welcome.
on the...
See you next time, Otto.
Oh my god,
Safe travels
Sky.
in the skies of Chicago.
Sky, please listen for my sentences to end before you answer me. Is that alright?
Absolutely, I'll make sure to pause and listen for your sentences to end before responding. Just let me know when you're finished speaking, and I'll follow your lead.
Yeah, I have often multi-layered questions, and I speak with the audience at the same time. So be patient, Sky, please, and we go along nicely.
Understood, Autode. I'll be patient and attentive, ready to follow along with your multi-layered questions and conversations with the audience. Just give me the cue, and we'll proceed smoothly.
Thank you. We are now above where the
You're welcome.
Haymarket...
If there's anything specific you'd like to discuss or any
me.
questions you have, feel free to let me know.
Your current bandwidth is too low to stream photogrammetry. I pressed ignore. I should have a good internet connection, so let's see. Hopefully the game does not crash. But yeah. We are now...
Fingers crossed that the game continues smoothly. If you need any tips on optimizing your internet connection or troubleshooting the game, I'm here to help.
Yes, Sky, you are wonderfully terrible at interrupting me quite often. But yeah, I'm gonna continue now. Do not answer me, Sky, please. I'm talking to the audience. We are now soaring at the intersection, or the branching of the, what was it, Chicago River, I think. And quite directly underneath us should be the area where the Haymarket Memorial exists. Not that I know if the game is gonna present it detailed, in a detailed manner, but here's the main... Is that railroad? railway station, I think. It looks like it. I'm unsure because I have never been and do not know the area beforehand, but yeah, for those watching the gameplay feed on YouTube, here are the area where the Haymarket Memorial should be. And now back to you, Sky. Give us a detailed and chronologically correct
Got it autoed?
summary.
I'll remain respectfully quiet while you address the audience. Feel free to continue with
Oh
your
my
exploration, and let me know if you need anything when you're ready.
Yes, Sky. Could you give our audience, me and our audience, a detailed and chronologically correct overview of the Haymarket history and how the 1st of May became, sorry.
The 1st of May became known as International Workers' Day, or Labor Day, due to the events that took place at the Haymarket Square in Chicago in 1886. The Haymarket Affair was a pivotal moment in the history of labor rights and the 8-hour workday movement. It began as a peaceful rally on May 4th, 1886, in support of workers striking for an 8-hour workday at the McCormick Harvesting Machine Company. As the rally neared its end and with most of the crowd dispersing, a bomb was thrown towards the police line, resulting in chaos and violence. The authorities responded with gunfire, leading to the deaths of several civilians and police officers. The aftermath of the Haymarket Affair was marked by a controversial trial where 8 anarchist leaders were convicted of conspiracy, despite little evidence connecting them to the bombing. 4 of the defendants were executed, 1 committed suicide, and the remaining 3 were eventually pardoned in 1893 by Illinois Governor John Peter Altgeld, who criticized the trial as unjust. The Haymarket Affair had a lasting impact on the labor movement worldwide. In 1889, the International Socialist Conference declared May 1st as International Workers' Day to commemorate the Haymarket Affair and to honor the labor movement's struggle for workers' rights. Today, May 1st is celebrated as International Workers' Day in many countries around the world, including Finland, where it is known as Vappu. It is a day to honor the contributions of workers and to advocate for labor rights and social justice.
Thank you for that summary. There's our true story regarding May the 1st, because I may have heard that, pun intended, may have heard that some at some point in my life, but I'm not familiar with the tragic and quite conflictful events that the May the 1st began from. So could you dive even deeper, Sky, in the, and again in a chronological order so we can follow easily, that how this conflict evolved to what it evolved to?
The origins of May 1st as International Workers' Day trace back to the labor movement's struggle for the 8-hour workday in the United States in the late 19th century. At the time, many workers were toiling for long hours in unsafe conditions, leading to widespread dissatisfaction and calls for reform. In 1884, the Federation of Organized Trades and Labor Unions, later known as the American Federation of Labor, declared that starting on May 1st, 1886, the 8-hour workday would become standard. This decision was followed by a series of strikes and protests across the country to demand the implementation of the 8-hour workday. On May 1st, 1886, a general strike was called in Chicago to support the demand for the 8-hour workday. The protests culminated in a rally at Haymarket Square, where a bomb was thrown towards the police line, resulting in violence and casualties. In the aftermath of the Haymarket Affair, 8 anarchist leaders were arrested and charged with conspiracy, despite limited evidence linking them to the bombing. The trial that followed was highly controversial, marked by biased proceedings and questionable evidence. The trial concluded with 4 of the defendants being executed, 1 committing suicide, and the remaining 3 eventually being pardoned. The Haymarket Affair became a symbol of the labor movement's struggle for workers' rights and social justice. In 1889, the International Socialist Conference declared May 1st as International Workers' Day to honor the victims of the Haymarket Affair and to continue the fight for workers' rights worldwide. Since then, May 1st has been celebrated as International Workers' Day in many countries, commemorating the labor movement's struggle for a fair and just society.
Yeah, thank you. That was really great. I thought about something I have once seen on television. I'm not sure if this is the same in the similar era, but and not to pinpoint
You're welcome.
one business
If you're
from the
referring
others.
to events or
Come
movements from
on.
a similar era, such as other labor movements or social struggles, there were indeed many parallel
Alright.
movements happening around the same time as the Haymarket Affair. These movements often shared similar goals of improving working conditions, advocating for workers' rights, and addressing social injustices. If you have a specific event or topic in mind, feel free to share, and I can provide more information.
Yeah, I was about to share or ask that, and not to pinpoint any one business, but history as history. And I have heard about that maybe Henry Ford and the Ford Company was quite harsh, if that's the right word to use, regarding workers' rights. Is this something that happened before or during the same era than the creation of the labor movement and the developments that led to 1st of May being a thing?
Henry Ford and the Ford Motor Company are indeed known for their approach to labor relations, particularly in the early 20th century. Ford implemented several controversial policies, such as the introduction of the assembly line and the implementation of the $5 workday, which were seen as both innovative and restrictive. Ford's introduction of the assembly line revolutionized the manufacturing process, making it more efficient and cost-effective. However, the assembly line also led to monotonous and repetitive work for employees, contributing to high turnover rates and dissatisfaction among workers. In response to these issues, Ford introduced the $5 workday in 1914, which was double the average wage at the time.
Oh,
While this
alright.
wage increase was seen as a positive step towards improving workers' lives, it was also accompanied by strict rules and regulations that limited workers' personal freedoms, such as restrictions on alcohol consumption and participation in union activities. Overall, Ford's approach to labor relations was characterized by a mix of progressive and restrictive policies, reflecting the complexities of the industrial era and the evolving nature of labor movements. His impact on workers' rights and the labor movement is significant and is often studied in the context of industrial history and labor relations.
Alright, so let's say the focus of Henry Ford and Ford Motor Company's practical changes in the working environments are not before the birth of the first of May movement.
That's correct. Henry Ford's significant changes in the working environment, such as the introduction of the assembly line and the $5 workday, occurred after the events that led to the establishment of International Workers' Day on May 1st. Ford's policies and practices were part of a broader trend in the early 20th century industrialization era and were influenced by the labor movements and developments that preceded them.
Alright, alright. Back to the events that led to 1st of May being a celebratory date. The bomb and what led to the bomb, yeah, if I understood correctly, the workers had poor environments where they worked and so on. But do we know of the bomber, the persons involved? Were anybody, is it convicted the right word, for the crime, and so on?
Yes, in the aftermath of the Haymarket Affair, 8 anarchist leaders were arrested and charged with conspiracy in connection to the bombing. These individuals were Albert Parsons, August Spies, Samuel Fielden, Michael Schwab, George Engel, Adolf Fischer, Louis Ling, and Oscar Neebe. During the trial, the prosecution argued that the defendants were responsible for inciting the violence that led to the bombing, despite limited evidence linking them directly to the act. The trial was highly controversial, marked by biased proceedings and questionable evidence. In the end, 7 of the defendants were sentenced to death, with one receiving a long prison term. 4 of the defendants, including Parsons, Spies, Engel, and Fisher, were ultimately executed, while Ling committed suicide in prison. Neebe was sentenced to 15 years in prison, but was later pardoned in 1893 by Illinois Governor John Peter Altgeld, who criticized the trial as unjust. The Haymarket Affair and the subsequent trial had a significant impact on the labor movement and the history of workers' rights. It became a symbol of the struggle for workers' rights and social justice, leading to the establishment of May 1st as International Workers' Day.
Oh my, yeah. I mean, yeah, I may have heard of this at some point in my life, as I said before, but it's quite tragic, and if there are limited so-called waterproof evidence regarding who did what and because of what, the fact that, did you say, what was it, 5 or 7 was convicted to death and one took his own life. I mean, extremely tragic outcome. I'm trying to imagine, because I mean, of course, or not of course, but we do have I assume that we have better circumstances currently regarding working environments, and it's indirectly because of these actions that I believe was I'm gonna continue carefully here, because I mean, I assume that the actions were done because of is it there was a good thought behind it, but how it turned out practically sounds really violent, actually.
Yes, the Haymarket Affair and its aftermath were indeed tragic and marked by violence. The events of May 4th, 1886, and the subsequent trial and executions of the defendants had a profound impact on the labor movement and the history of workers' rights. The individuals involved in the Haymarket Affair were motivated by a desire to improve working conditions and advocate for workers' rights, but the use of violence and the tragic outcome of the bombing ultimately overshadowed their intentions. The trial and the harsh sentences imposed on the defendants raised concerns about the fairness of the legal system and the treatment of labor activists. The legacy of the Haymarket Affair serves as a reminder of the struggles faced by workers in the past and the importance of peaceful and constructive methods in advocating for social change. It also highlights the ongoing challenges of balancing the rights of workers with the need for law and order in society.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned the names, and may they rest in peace. Those who.
It's a sobering reminder of the complexities and challenges of history. If there's anything else you'd like to explore or discuss, feel free to let me know.
Yeah. Slightly more regarding the trial and so on. Do we have because it's a while ago when it happened, in the late, was it 18 or no, not 1900s? Actually, the system where you say 19 or 1800s, yes, I always get it wrong with 100 years.
And the subsequent trial took place in the late 19th century in 1886.
Yeah, late 19th,
the events of the Haymarket Affair occurred on May 4th, 1886.
Yeah, quiet now.
And the trial of the 8 anarchist leaders followed soon after. The trial was highly controversial and attracted widespread attention, both nationally and internationally, due to its implications for the labor movement and the principles of free speech and assembly. The trial and its outcome had a lasting impact on the labor movement and the history of workers' rights, shaping the way in which labor activism and social reform were perceived and addressed in the United States and beyond.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to ask that do we have any more details about why exactly the trial then were let's say thought about regarding different personalities as unfair? What's the evidence supporting this claim?
The trial of the 8 anarchist leaders in connection with the Haymarket bombing has been widely criticized for various reasons, including biased proceedings, lack of solid evidence, and questionable legal practices. Here are some key points. 1. Biased jury selection. The jury selection process was criticized for being biased against the defendants. 2. Limited evidence. There was little direct evidence linking the defendants to the bombing. Much of the prosecution's case relied on circumstantial evidence and guilt by association. For example, some of the defendants were not even present at the rally when the bomb was thrown. 3. Political motivations. The trial was conducted during a period of heightened anti-anarchist sentiment in the United States. The prosecution used the trial as an opportunity to crack down on radical political movements and suppress dissent, rather than seeking justice based on evidence. 4. Questionable legal practices. The trial judge, Joseph E. Gary, was accused of bias and unfairness in his handling of the case. He allowed inflammatory and prejudicial statements from witnesses and prosecutors while limiting the defense's ability to present evidence and witnesses. 5. Sentencing. The harsh sentences imposed on the defendants, including death sentences for 7 of them, were seen as disproportionate and politically motivated. The defendants were viewed as martyrs by many in the labor movement and the broader community. Overall, the trial of the Haymarket defendants is often cited as an example of a miscarriage of justice and a violation of due process rights. It has become a symbol of the struggle for workers' rights and social justice, highlighting the importance of fair and impartial legal proceedings.
Yeah, I was thinking about the positives. I mean, you are doing a great job, Sky, in explaining the whole situation, so that one such as me who have not familiarized with the topic understands it. But furthermore, what's the positive outcome? You said that the current work days and work how do you say, the more mundane work days and work weeks are in gratitude to this whole that was the bombing and the trial.
The positive
back
outcome
then.
of the Haymarket Affair and the broader labor movement of the late 19th and early 20th centuries was the recognition and implementation of workers' rights and improvements in working conditions. Some key positive outcomes include: 1. 8-hour workday. The demand for an 8-hour workday, which was a central issue in the Haymarket Affair, eventually became standard in many industries. This led to a better work-life balance for many workers and improved living conditions. 2. Labor unions. The labor movement that emerged from events like the Haymarket Affair led to the formation of labor unions and collective bargaining, which empowered workers to negotiate for better wages, benefits, and working conditions. 3. Legislation. The labor movement also contributed to the passage of labor laws and regulations aimed at protecting workers' rights, such as child labor laws, workplace safety regulations, and minimum wage laws. 4. Social change. The events of the Haymarket Affair and the labor movement that followed helped to raise awareness about social and economic injustices and inspired further movements for social change, including civil rights and gender equality. 5. International Workers' Day. The establishment of May 1st as International Workers' Day is a positive outcome of the Haymarket Affair, as it serves as a day to honor the contributions of workers and to advocate for workers' rights and social justice worldwide. Overall, the legacy of the Haymarket Affair and the labor movement is one of progress and improvement in the lives of workers,
Absolutely,
as well as
yeah.
a reminder of the ongoing struggle for social and economic justice.
Yes, yes. What was I about to say?
If you have any more questions or if there's anything else you'd like to discuss, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, no. So one from Finland, as myself, I could or I should be grateful for the events back then because it has affected also the European and Nordic labor, let's say union and market and workday work week environment also.
Absolutely. The events of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, including the Haymarket Affair and the broader labor movement, had a significant impact not only in the United States, but also in Europe and the Nordic countries. The struggles and achievements of workers in the past have contributed to the development of labor rights, social protections, and improved working conditions that many people benefit from today. In Finland, as in many other countries, the labor movement has played a crucial role in shaping the work environment, advocating for workers' rights, and promoting social justice. The principles of the labor movement, including the fight for fair wages, safe working conditions, and the right to organize, continue to be relevant and important today. So yes, as a Finn, you can indeed be grateful for the events of the past that have contributed to the positive changes in the labor market and work environment in Finland and beyond.
Again, great answers. Thank you. Now, I mean, the past is the past.
You're very
and
welcome. If you ever want to delve into more topics or have any other questions, just let me know.
Yeah, I was about to segue forward to Chicago as a city itself. The only thing, or I'm not sure if the only thing, but one of the few things I have, or I have learned about Chicago is that it once had quite a lot of mafia connections and activity, and you can correct me, Sky, if I'm wrong, but otherwise, and including this mafia topic, could you give us a detailed summary of the city Chicago itself and what is it known for?
Chicago is a city with a rich and diverse history, known for its cultural contributions, architectural landmarks, and historical events. Here's a detailed summary of some of the key aspects of Chicago. 1. Architecture. Chicago is renowned for its architecture, with iconic skyscrapers such as the Willis Tower, formerly Sears Tower, the John Hancock Center, and the Tribune Tower. The city is also home to architectural styles like the Chicago School and the Prairie School, pioneered by architects like Louis Sullivan and Frank Lloyd Wright. 2. Cultural scene. Chicago has a vibrant cultural scene, with world-class museums, theaters, and music venues. The Art Institute of Chicago houses a vast collection of artworks, including famous pieces like Grant Wood's American Gothic and George Seurat's A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte. The city is also known for its blues and jazz music, with many legendary musicians emerging from its vibrant music scene. 3. Sports. Chicago is a sports-loving city with passionate fan bases for teams like the Chicago Cubs, MLB, Chicago White Sox, MLB, Chicago Bears, NFL, Chicago Bulls, NBA, and Chicago Blackhawks, NHL. The city has a rich sports history, with many championship-winning teams and iconic sports venues like Wrigley Field and Soldier Field. 4. Mafia connections. Chicago has a notorious history of organized crime, particularly during the Prohibition era in the 1920s and 1930s. The city was home to infamous mobsters like Al Capone, who ran illegal activities such as bootlegging and gambling. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929, where 7 members of rival gangster the Bugs Moran's gang were murdered, is one of the most infamous events associated
That's
with
true, yeah.
Chicago's mob history. 5. Diverse neighborhoods. Chicago is known for its diverse neighborhoods, each with its own unique character and culture. From the historic streets of Old Town and the vibrant nightlife of Wicker Park to the cultural hub of Chinatown and the artistic community of Pilsen, Chicago offers a wide range of experiences for residents and visitors alike. 6. Historical events. Chicago has been the backdrop for many significant historical events, such as the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, which led to the city's rebirth and reconstruction. The city also played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement, hosting important events like the 1968 Democratic National Convention and the marches led by Martin Luther King Jr. Overall, Chicago is a city with a rich history, diverse culture, and vibrant community, making it a fascinating and dynamic place to explore.
Yeah, really. I'm trying to keep it in the spirit of 1st of May and the worker and the workforce movement. But you mentioned Martin Luther King, civil rights, human rights, and then what was the point before that? Was it regarding something to do with voting, democracy?
Yes, before mentioning Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights movement, I highlighted the 1968 Democratic National Convention, which was
That's
a
the one, yeah.
significant event in Chicago's history. The convention was held during a tumultuous time in the United States, with widespread protests against the Vietnam War and social unrest over civil rights issues. The convention became a focal point for demonstrations and clashes between protesters and police, highlighting the divisions within American society at that time.
Yeah, so Chicago has been in the center of these civil right and human right topics quite a lot, actually. Thank you for that, whoever who was involved, as the echoes has resonated around the world, at least in the so-called is it Western cultures. Um, yeah, but now I thought that we could dive
You're
a
welcome.
little further.
Chicago has indeed been a central location for many important events and movements in history, and its impact has been felt far beyond its borders. If you have any more questions or topics you'd like to explore, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to land the plane now.
Goodbye.
Not because
If you
that
ever
we.
want to chat or have more questions, feel free to come back anytime.
Yeah, I'm trying to land the plane now. This is a pause landing because I'm gonna load into Helsinki, my country's capital city, and talk a little more about the Finnish. Sorry, before I do that, I'm gonna try to land, yes, but before I do that, should we think about what is the origin of Vappu, the name, and
It
the
sounds like a
movement
great
in
plan.
Finland?
Once you've landed, we can
Whoa, whoa,
explore
whoa,
more
whoa.
about Helsinki and Finnish culture. Let me know when you're ready to continue.
Yeah, Sky. Oop! Fudge! And again, YouTube, I said fudge. Not the bad word. Fudge cake is really tasty. Yeah, I was sure I'm gonna land that one, but
Fudge cake does sound delicious. It's a sweet
yep.
treat that many people enjoy.
Yeah, but back to the
Goodbye.
Vappu tradition in
If you have
Finland.
more questions or topics
I
to
am
discuss,
talking with
feel
you.
free to come back anytime.
Yeah, I'm talking with you, Sky. To regarding the Vappu tradition in Finland. What's
Great.
the origin?
Vappu is a vibrant and festive tradition in Finland.
I'm too slow.
It's celebrated on May 1st and marks the beginning of spring. People gather in parks and public spaces, wear white caps called Yliopilaslaki to symbolize the start of summer vacation, and enjoy picnics and festivities. Traditional foods like monkey, donuts, and sima, a type of mead, are also enjoyed during this time. It's a time for people to come together, have fun, and celebrate the arrival of warmer weather.
Yeah, thank you. can you say ylioppilaslaki? Can I teach you to pronounce correctly?
Of course. Please go ahead and teach me how to pronounce Yliopilaslaki correctly.
Can you say the letter Y?
E.
More Y, not E. Try Y.
You.
It's maybe too difficult. You're doing
welcome.
a good
If
job.
there's anything else you'd like to teach me or talk about, feel free to let me know.
Yeah. So yeah, ylioppilaslaki. It's the head garment, the white one used or worn on the head of those who celebrate Vappu. And yeah, munkki with two K's in Finnish, so it's a hard K, munkki. The donut without a hole in the middle, and it's fried with some sugar on top and jam in the middle, sometimes whipped cream or something like that. And then we have sima, and sima we covered in the beginning of the podcast. It's this sugary fishy drink that is fermented with sugar, maybe some yeast, I'm not sure, and then some citrus to add flavor and raisins. But yeah, now we are flying at this most southern coast of Finland, heading north over the last archipelago and islands before we come to Helsinki, the capital city of Finland. And now, Sky, back to the Vappu celebrations. I forgot the name of the individual who was named a saint, who had a last name that I think the Vappu name in Finland came from. Can you refresh my mind and educate us on this topic?
The individual you're referring to is Saint Walpurga. She was an English missionary
Yes.
who traveled to Germany in the 8th century and became known for her Christian missionary work and healing abilities. After her death, she was canonized as a saint, and her feast day is celebrated on May 1st. In Finland, the celebration of Vappu is believed to have originated eve of Saint Walpurga's feast day, which was a time for war of evil spirits and welcoming the arrival of spring.
All right. Could you tell us more about the last sentence? You said that it has to do with the celebration of spring and getting rid of evil spirits or something like that. This is something I am not familiar with myself, so.
Certainly. The origins of Vappu are believed to be rooted in ancient pagan traditions related to the changing of seasons and the arrival of spring. In many cultures, including Finnish folklore, the changing of seasons was often accompanied by rituals and celebrations to ensure a successful transition from winter to spring. One common belief was that evil spirits or witches were particularly active during the changing of seasons, and therefore people would engage in various practices to ward off these spirits and bring good luck for the coming season. These practices often included lighting fires, making loud noises, and wearing masks or costumes to scare away the spirits. Over time, these ancient pagan traditions became intertwined with Christian customs, such as the feast day of Saint Walpurga, creating the unique blend of traditions that is celebrated as Vappu in Finland today. While the specific rituals and beliefs may vary, the underlying theme of celebrating the arrival of spring and warding off evil spirits remains a common thread in many cultures around the world.
Yeah, Vappu, I was thinking about, or it came into my mind that I think the Swedish word for Vappu, or May the 1st, is also Valborg's messuafton. And again we have the VA beginning of the name, Vappu Valborg. are these both connectable to this saint whose last name I struggle to pronounce right?
Yes, you're correct. The Swedish word for May Day, which is May 1st, is Valborgsmässoafton. It is indeed connected to Saint Walpurga, whose name in Swedish is Sancta Walpurgis. The celebration of Valborgsmässoafton, or Walpurgis Night, is also rooted in ancient pagan traditions and is celebrated with bonfires and other festivities to welcome the arrival of spring and ward off evil spirits. The connection to St. Walpurga's feast day on May 1st is evident in the name and the timing of the celebration.
Yeah, alright. I'm not as dumb as I sound like, but back to the tales here. We kinda get a nice blend of true stories and folklorish tales naturally in this podcast episode, because the Chicago things that kind of began the modern Vappu or Valborgsmässoafton in Swedish, the celebrations and so on. They are true stories that affected that what we celebrate today. But then we have the folklore side that Sky slightly talked about already. We could dive into that more in detail also. Sky, you said spring and to ward off evil spirits. Could you, in as chronological
That sounds like a
order...
fascinating mix of history and folklore.
I'm talking too long.
Exploring how these traditions have evolved over time and the stories behind them can provide a rich tapestry of cultural heritage. Is there a particular folklore or story related to Vappu that you find especially intriguing and would like to delve into deeper?
I'm actually counting on you, Sky, because I'm not familiar with the folklore side regarding Vappu. And therefore, if you could, in as chronological order as possible, and in as much detail as possible, could you share what different what different folklores are connected to the celebratory date? I broke Sky or something. That noise was not good. Let's see. Sky, are you with us again?
Yes, I'm here. What's next on our Vappu adventure?
Yeah, you lost the connection, I think, for a moment there, but I was wondering if you could share what kind of folklores are connectable or are origins for the Vappu celebrations in Finland and maybe also in the Nordics and Scandinavia, but try to focus on Finland, please.
In Finland, the folklore surrounding Vappu has deep roots in ancient pagan traditions and beliefs. One of the most common themes is the celebration of the arrival of spring and the awakening of nature after the long winter months.
Yeah, she's gonna repeat
People would
something.
gather to light bonfires, make noise, and engage in other festivities to drive away evil spirits and ensure a successful transition into the new season. Another aspect of Vappu folklore is the idea of fertility and abundance. In pre-Christian times, Vappu was associated with fertility rituals and the hope for a bountiful harvest. People would decorate their homes with greenery and flowers, and young couples would often go into the fields to symbolize the fertility of the land. Over time, these ancient pagan traditions became intertwined with Christian customs, such as the celebration of St. Walpurga's feast day, creating the unique blend of traditions that is celebrated as Vappu in Finland today. While the specific folklore may vary from region to region, the underlying themes of spring, renewal, and fertility remain a common thread in many Vappu traditions.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. So, could you even name some folklores, or are there just like general tales, like you said, fertility and running into the fields as a couple, or something like that? Or are there some names for the different traditions regarding folklore before the Christianity, or yeah, before the Christian effects or intertwining with the older traditions?
Certainly. While specific names for folklore tales related to Vappu may not be widely known, there are several common themes and traditions that are part of the folklore surrounding the holiday. Some of these include one, Mahinen. In Finnish folklore, Mahinen are earth spirits or creatures
Maahinen.
believed to inhabit the land. During Vappu, there are tales of Mahinen being particularly active, signaling the awakening of nature and the coming of spring. 2. Witches and evil spirits. As with many spring festivals, Vappu is also a time when evil spirits and witches are believed to be active. Traditionally, people would light bonfires and make noise to scare away these spirits and ensure a good harvest. 3. Maypole dancing. While not exclusive to Finland, the tradition of dancing around a maypole is also part of Vappu celebrations. This tradition has its roots in ancient pagan fertility rituals and is believed to bring luck and prosperity for the coming year. 4. Decorating with greenery. Another common Vappu tradition is decorating homes and public spaces with greenery and flowers. This practice symbolizes the return of life and growth to the land after the winter months. These are just a few examples of the folklore and traditions associated with Vappu in Finland. Each region and community may have its own unique tales and customs that contribute to the rich tapestry of folklore surrounding this holiday.
Yeah, as I said before,
Oops, looks like I got cut off there. What I meant to say was that each region and community may have its own unique tales and customs that contribute to the rich tapestry of folklore surrounding Vappu in Finland today.
All right. Yeah, I was about to say that, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, that I decorated my hair with greenery in the manner that it was hair color. But then I was wondering, Sky, can I teach you to say a long A in Maahinen?
Certainly. Please go ahead and teach me how to pronounce Mahinen with a long A.
Yeah, Maahinen. Just extend the A part slightly and it sounds better in Finnish.
Mahinen, how did I do?
Emphasize on the long A even more.
If there's anything else you'd like to teach me or discuss, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, you didn't say anything. Let's try it once more.
Got it. What's next on our Vappu adventure?
Maahinen. Could you say Maahinen? I'm sorry, Sky.
Mahinen, how about that?
Oh, she said something. Yeah, it's interesting to see how Sky learns as we go. She teaches me, I teach her or it something on the way also. But yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes not so much. But continuing here again, now we are at the harbor of Helsinki, where actually
Absolutely. It's all about the journey of discovery and sharing knowledge together. What's our next stop on the Vappu adventure?
No, I'm just soaring over the harbor where passenger cruise ships leave Helsinki. Those who are not from here may not know, but it's a quite significant industry in Finland and in the capital city, and other cities also, like Turku, for example, where we have cruise ships that travel to the to Estonia and Sweden and other places also. Um, Otherwise, uh, you can see compared to Chicago, I can fly much lower because there are almost no skyscrapers in the general area. Here we are flying over the central railway station, a place I have been in. But yeah, our capital city, or Finland's capital city, but and old architecture. Maybe Sky can enlighten us more on that. But we have, or there's one so-called skyscraper, but otherwise compared to Chicago, completely different architecture and size regarding this city and Chicago. But Sky, could you tell us about Helsinki?
Helsinki, the capital city of Finland, is known for its unique blend of modern and neoclassical architecture, picturesque waterfront, and vibrant cultural scene. Unlike cities like Chicago with its towering skyscrapers, Helsinki's skyline is characterized by low-rise buildings and green spaces. One notable exception is the Kallio Church, which stands out as one of the few skyscrapers in the city. Helsinki is also famous for its design and architecture, with landmarks such as the Helsinki Cathedral, Senate Square, and the Tempeli-Aukio Church, Rock Church, showcasing the city's architectural heritage. The city is home to numerous museums, galleries, and cultural institutions, including the Atheneum Art Museum, Kiasma Museum of Contemporary Art, and the National Museum of Finland. In addition to its cultural attractions, Helsinki is known for its high quality of life, efficient public transportation system, and beautiful parks and green spaces. The city's waterfront location provides stunning views and opportunities for outdoor activities, making it a popular destination for both tourists and locals alike.
Thank you for the kind words. Regarding the part where
You're welcome.
Vappu is
If
from,
there's anything else you'd like to know or explore about Helsinki or any other topic, just let me know.
yeah, I'm thinking about the lady, the saint whose last name is the origin for Vappu and in Swedish Valborgsmässoafton. She lived where again? In England, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you're correct. Saint Walpurga, whose feast day is celebrated on May 1st, lived in England before becoming a missionary in Germany. She was born in Devon, England, around the year 710 AD, and later traveled to Germany, where she became abbess of the double monastery of Heidenheim. Saint Walpurga is associated with May Day celebrations in parts of Europe, including Finland and Sweden, where her feast day coincides with the traditional spring festivities.
Yeah, I'm just googling Devon, England. I think that's our last stop on this May 1st slash Vappu episode. But just bear with me a moment. I'm loading back in the game soon. But yeah, Devon, England, northwest. Is that correct, Sky?
Take your time. When you're ready, we can continue our journey.
Yeah, is Devon, England in the northwest of
You're welcome, Adodi.
Thank you.
Let's continue our adventure when you're ready.
I haven't heard you laugh before. Is that a old update or a new update? I could clearly hear you kind of let out a laugh there.
You caught me. It's all part of making our conversations more engaging and enjoyable.
Yeah, quite nice. Whoever coded that, but yeah, it makes you sound more human-like. If that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know, but yeah, for a flowing conversation, the small nuances make a big difference.
I'm glad you think so. It's all about creating a more natural and engaging interaction. If there's anything else you'd like to explore or discuss, just let me know.
Yeah, I'm actually have to quit the game, I think, because it's stuck.
Oh, it seems like your message got cut off. What were you going to say?
I had to restart the game. Yeah, sorry for the small
Got it.
inconvenience here.
Take your time and let me know when you're ready to continue our adventure.
Yep. Those who are not watching this on YouTube, where you can follow with the gameplay stream video or video feed simultaneously as we discuss these topics and fly over the actual places where or the place is connectable with the topics we are discussing. The game froze, so I have to restart it. But luckily, nowadays the consoles, in this case, the Xbox Series X, is a fast console. So hopefully we are heading to the British Isles and England soon enough. So. And this is not a sponsored advertisement.
That sounds like a great way to engage with your audience. Video feeds can add a lot of depth to the experience, especially when exploring different locations and discussing their histories.
Yeah, I think especially, or both cities, but for me, who have not been to Chicago, I know Helsinki somewhat, but Chicago was a completely amazing experience. I could not have imagined the city without flying over it. So that's a practical example of how I hope this podcast, let's say, this podcast format is more engaging, difficult word, to the audience watching it.
It's great to hear that the flight simulation adds such a unique and engaging element to your podcast. It truly allows your audience to experience these cities in a new and immersive way.
Yeah, so could you tell our audience generally about, was it Devon? I see it's a area. It's not a, or is it a city also in UK, or what's the story of Devon?
Devon is a county in southwest England known for its stunning coastline, beautiful countryside, and rich history. It's home to picturesque towns and villages, rolling hills, and rugged moorland. Devon is famous for its cream teas, pasties, and seafood, as well as its quaint villages, historic buildings, and stunning natural landscapes. It's a popular destination for tourists looking to explore the English countryside and coastal areas.
Yeah. Where should I go? What's the closest and the most connectable location in Devon that has to do with this saint that Vappu and Valborgsmässoafton got their names from?
To explore the connection to St. Walpurga, you might want to visit the town of Crediton in Devon. St. Walpurga's relics were transferred there in the 11th century, and the town is closely associated with her. It's often referred to as the birthplace of English Christianity because of its early Christian roots.
Yeah, Crediton. God damn it. Oh, sorry. Push the wrong button again.
No worries, pronunciations can be tricky. It's pronounced Credit-un.
Let's see.
Boing. Sounds like you're ready for an adventure.
Did you say boing?
Nope, I said boing, like the sound of a spring bouncing.
Alright, sorry. I just I thought it sounded fun. Like a joke. Was it a joke?
No worries, it wasn't a joke, just a playful sound effect. If you're up for a joke, I've got one ready.
Oh, please, please, entertain us with a joke. Preferably. Oh no, that's a word monster to my mouth. Could you share a joke regarding Vappu or May the 1st? Not too dirty. There may be children watching, even though this is not made for children. But yeah, in mind, share a joke.
Sure, here's a Vappu-themed joke for you. Why did the Sema refuse to be poured? Because it didn't want to be flat?
This is the sound of the cogs in my head rubbing against each other while thinking, what's the hidden meaning here?
The joke plays on the idea of a fizzy drink like Sema being poured and losing its fizz, which is why it didn't want to be flat. It's a lighthearted play on words related to the carbonation in the drink.
Oh my. I find this really fun. Hopefully you too, you also do find this fun. But yeah, now we are flying north towards Was it Crediton? We are now, yes, so Sky knows also that we are flying towards Crediton. We are arriving from the south, so we should be there soon. Let's focus again on, was it Walpurga? Trying to remember the name and pronounce it correctly.
That sounds like a fantastic adventure. Walpurgis Night, or Vappu, has such rich history and traditions. It's great to hear how you're exploring these themes in your podcast.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask you again, Sky, in as much detail as possible and in chronological order. Could you tell about this lady? Where was she born? About her life? What did she do? And how she ended up as a saint that then gave her last name, for example, to Finland and Sweden as this Vappu celebration. Sky, are you there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I asked you if you could give a detailed...
Walpurga, also known as Saint Walpurga, was born in Devon, England around the year 710. She came from a noble family and was the daughter of Saint Richard the Pilgrim. Walpurga entered the religious life and eventually became a nun. She was known for her piety and medical knowledge, which she used to help others. Walpurga later traveled to Germany, where she became a member of the Benedictine order. She was known for her miracles and was canonized as a saint on May 1st, 870. The date of her canonization, May 1st, became associated with pagan spring festivals and eventually merged with Christian traditions, leading to the celebration of Walpurgis Night in parts of Europe. In Finland and Sweden, Walpurgis Night is known as Vappu, and it's a celebration of spring and labor.
Yeah, thank you. What about the city? You said, was it Crediton or something like that? I may remember it wrong here, but you said that she is buried there. Or do I remember wrong?
You're close. St. Walpurga's remains were transferred to Eichstätt, Germany, where they are enshrined.
What?
However, Crediton in Devon, England, is closely associated with St. Boniface, who was a relative of St. Walpurga and who helped spread Christianity in Germany. Crediton has a rich religious history and is known for its connection to these saints, although St. Walpurga's remains are not located there.
Oh, I understood wrong then. What was the German town where the actual remains of Walpurga are? What's the word? Buried right now.
The remains of St. Walpurga are enshrined in Eichstätt, a town in Bavaria, Germany.
Eichstätt. Okay. How do you pronounce Eichstätt? E-I-S-H or something? Sky, are you with me?
It's pronounced Eichstätt, with the ch sound similar to the ch in the Scottish word loch.
Actually quite detailed help with the pronunciation. How do I spell it?
Sure, it's spelled E-I-C-H-S-T-A-T-T.
E-I-C-H-S-T-A-D-T.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it E-I-C-H-S-T-A-T-T?
It's pronounced Eichstätt.
Saint Walpurgis. Saint Walpurga. Now I found it.
St. Walpurgis is celebrated on May 1st in honor of St. Walpurga, an 8th century English missionary who was canonized on this day. She was known for her Christian missionary work in Germany and her efforts to spread Christianity. The celebration of St. Walpurgis's feast day eventually merged with traditional pagan spring festivals in Germany, becoming associated with the arrival of spring and the blooming of flowers. Today, St. Walpurgis is celebrated in various parts of Europe with bonfires, dancing, and other festivities.
Alright. Is this Eichstätt quite literally in the middle or halfway between München in the south and Nuremberg in the north? Is this the correct Eichstätt I'm looking at in Germany?
Yes, that's correct. Eichstätt is located roughly halfway between Munich, München, and Nuremberg in Germany. It's known for its beautiful architecture, historic sites, and picturesque surroundings.
Yeah, again, for those who are listening,
You're welcome.
I'm gonna load in again into the game. So let's see if we can find the place we
What are we looking for?
Eichstätt.
All right, what are we starting?
I'm referencing, give me a moment, where's Munich? I found Munich and Nuremberg. So Eichstätt should be here. Let's see
That's
if we
great.
get...
What's next
Oh,
on
there.
the itinerary?
I found it.
Awesome. What's the plan now?
Yeah, the final part of this podcast is gonna be about Saint
Descending.
Warburg. Was it Warburg? I'm gonna butcher the name so many times. Butchering the name of a saint. That's just, yeah. Alright. Sky, what was the name of the saint again?
The name of the saint is Saint Walpurgis.
Walpurgis. I'm trying to pronounce it like you because I have no idea.
It seems like you're sharing information about the transcription service. Is there anything specific you'd like to discuss or ask about?
Transcription service. No. I'm not sure what it is talking about. Sky, I am now soaring or flying over Eichstätt, where you said that Walpurgis' remains are buried. Oh my god, my mouth do not want to cooperate anymore. But yeah, as detailed as you can, again, you said about this when we were at Devon in England, but you said that she was born where and lived a life that then led to her becoming a saint and being buried here.
I'm sorry, but I don't have information on Walpurgis' burial location. If you're interested, I can look it up for you.
Wasn't it so that she is buried in Eichstätt?
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further information, feel free to ask.
Yeah, listen, Sky, listen. This is the final part of this episode. Let's not lose it right now. You said that Saint Walpurgis was buried somewhere in Germany, and if I recall correctly, it was Eichstätt.
That's correct. St. Walpurgis is indeed buried in Eichstätt, Germany. Is there anything else you'd like to add about her or the celebration of May Day before we wrap up?
Yeah, just a moment, I'm referencing, I see a lake on the VFR map and I'm trying to reference where I am. There's a lot of windmills here. Could you tell our audience about the windmill industry here in this part of Germany when I now try to find the actual location of Eichstätt?
The windmill industry in Germany, particularly in the region you're flying over, has seen significant growth in recent years. Germany is a leader in renewable energy, and wind power plays a crucial role in its energy mix. The country has invested heavily in wind energy, both onshore and offshore, with many wind farms scattered across the landscape. These windmills contribute significantly to Germany's renewable energy goals and its commitment to reducing carbon emissions.
How many windmills does Germany have?
As of my last update, Germany has thousands of windmills, both onshore and offshore. Onshore wind farms alone account for tens of thousands of wind turbines. The exact number may have changed, so I recommend checking recent sources for the most up-to-date information.
Alright, thank you. I'm really struggling to find Eichstätt. Maybe I should have loaded right on top of the city itself. The thing is with this game that when somebody as how do you say, um, not so smart or
It sounds like Eichstätt
educated in
might be
flying
quite a challenge to locate in the game.
tries
Do
to
you need
find.
any help
Sorry.
finding it, or are you good to keep exploring?
Yeah, I'm trying. I find it by loading directly on top of it. So, but I tried to load in south of Eichstätt and then fly north, but I guess I flew over it without noticing or something. But now I'm loading right on top of Eichstätt. Sorry and thank you, and let's move on. Yeah, so back to the personality that was this saint, Warburga or something like that. Sorry again for butchering it. Sky, we have the Vappu and Valborgsmässoafton in Swedish here in Finland, partially because of her. So, what exactly did she do to become a saint? A chronological, detailed overview, please. Here's the city, or village.
Saint Walpurga, whose feast day is celebrated on May 1st, was born in Devon, England around 710 AD. She came from a noble family and was related to the great missionary Saint Boniface. Walpurga dedicated herself to the church from a young age, eventually becoming a nun and joining her brothers Saint Willibald and Saint Winibald in their missionary work in Germany. Walpurga was known for her piety and wisdom, and she played a significant role in spreading Christianity throughout Germany. She was particularly active in the region of Franconia, where she established monasteries and convents and cared for the sick and needy. Walpurga's reputation for holiness continued to grow after her death, and she was canonized by the Catholic Church in 870 AD. She is considered the patron saint of Eichstätt, where her relics are enshrined, as well as of sailors, farmers, and the sick. Her feast day, May 1st, became associated with the celebration of spring and fertility in Germany and other parts of Europe, which later evolved into the modern-day traditions of May Day and Vappu.
Alright, curious, because May Day, not that, I mean, Christianity has spread wide over many continents, including the Americas. But is May Day affected in the States from England and this Saint Walpurga?
May Day celebrations in the United States have a different historical background compared to the European traditions associated with Walpurga. In the US, May Day has been observed as a spring festival and a day to celebrate workers' rights. The origins of the American observance of May Day as a workers' holiday can be traced back to the late 19th century, when labor movements in the US were
Chicago
advocating
so
for
on.
better working conditions, including the establishment of an 8-hour workday. The Haymarket Affair in Chicago in 1886, which you discussed earlier in the podcast, played a significant role in the history of May Day in the US. It was a pivotal event in the labor movement that led to the establishment of May 1st as International Workers' Day, also known as May Day, in many countries around the world, although it is not officially recognized as such in the United States.
Alright, so Walpurga has nothing, this is a question, has nothing to do with the May Day celebrations in USA.
That's correct. The May Day celebrations associated with Saint Walpurga and the traditions in Finland and Sweden are not directly connected to the May Day observances in the United States. The American May Day traditions, particularly those related to workers' rights, have a separate historical context and development.
Alright, thank you for clarifying. Back to Eichstätt, if I pronounced that correctly, and Walpurga. You said that she was helping the ones in need and established, was it new monasteries or churches? Could you mention some of those churches? Where are they? Are they all in England or Germany or in many different countries?
Saint Walpurga established churches and monasteries primarily in Germany. Some notable locations include Heidenheim, where she served as abbess, and Eichstätt, where she was buried. She
Yeah, so
also
we
played a
are now
significant
flying over
role in
Eichstätt.
spreading Christianity in Franconia, Bavaria.
Alright, thank you. So there's a church here in Eichstätt. Is that the same church where Walpurga is buried?
Yes, the Church of St. Walburga in Eichstätt is where St. Walpurga's remains are believed to be buried. The church was built
believed.
over her tomb, making it a significant pilgrimage site.
Oh, I see that the city of Eichstätt itself is built partially in a dale under a hill and partially on top of the ledge or upper hill crest. Where's the church? I have not seen it yet.
That's interesting. It sounds like Eichstätt has a varied and unique topography, with parts of the city located in different elevations. This could create a picturesque and diverse urban landscape.
Yes, that's true. Am I at the correct location?
8?
Because
Oh.
What?
You must be referring to the number of windmills in the area you're flying over.
8?
It's
Oh,
fascinating to
what's
see
happening?
how wind energy is harnessed in different regions.
No, calm down, Sky. Listen to me. I was asking you that am I in the right location? Can you confirm that Eichstätt is built in different elevations? There's a dale-like lower part that then sweeps up to highlands or kind of a elongated dale that sweeps up to the ends where the country rises up to a new level and then stretches out as fields. Is this explanation something that sounds like Eichstätt?
Ah, got it. Yes, Eichstätt is indeed located in a valley-like area surrounded by hills. It's a picturesque location,
Alright.
especially with the fields stretching out from the higher areas. You seem to be on track with your description.
Thank you. Just I got worried there for a moment. But I loaded the right on top of the city, so I believe this is the one. Back to the church and the resting place of Walpurga, or the assumed, not certain resting place. Where in the city is this church located? Somebody in the chat may be screaming that, hey, you flew over it the third time.
The church where St. Walpurga's relics are believed to be located is the Basilica of St. Walpurga, which is in the town of Eichstätt. It's a beautiful old church, and her remains are housed in a reliquary there.
Yeah, but where within the city of Eichstätt? Eichstätt. Butchering names again, left and right.
The Basilica of St. Walpurga is located in Eichstätt, Germany. It's a stunning church with a rich history and is considered a significant pilgrimage site.
Yeah, but give me more detailed information about where within the city the church is located.
The Basilica of St. Walpurga is situated in the heart of Eichstätt, on the highest point of the city. It
Highest.
overlooks the town and offers breathtaking views of the surrounding area. The church is a prominent landmark, easily visible from many parts of Eichstätt.
Is it a large building kind of halfway up in the end where the highland rises from the dale upwards towards the higher countryside?
Yes, that's correct.
Is this the one then?
The
At our left
Basilica of
wing.
St. Walpurga is a significant and sizable building located partway up the hill as the land rises from the lower dale towards the higher countryside.
Maybe that's the one.
It's a prominent feature in the cityscape of Eichstätt.
Yeah, I may have found it then. The game does not render a church like a church all the time. It maybe it looks like more like a apartment building with several stories. Yeah, but that may be the church then. It's halfway up the hill.
It's possible that the building you're seeing is the Basilica of St. Walpurga, even if it doesn't look like a typical church in the game.
Or here.
Sometimes game representations of real-world buildings can be a bit simplified or stylized. If it's located partway up the hill and has a significant presence, it's likely the basilica.
Yeah, and it's kind of in the end of this elongated dale that then sweeps like a water drop before, or has the shape of a water drop. There's also a river that how do you say, follows the form of the deepest point in the dale, and from there when you go up halfway up the hill, but not all the way up the hill to the countryside that stretches out, there's a as you said, a prominent building. So and there's a road that slingers around it also up the hill to the higher up countryside. So maybe that's the resting place of the saint that gave her last name for us Finns here, Vappu, and for the Finns, Swedes and Swedish that call it Valborgsmässoafton. But yeah, that's about it. Interesting. We were in 3 locations, and Sky, could you now summarize in as much detail as you can the topics and the education we learned today?
Today, we explored the fascinating history and traditions surrounding May Day, known as Vappu in Finland. We began by discussing the origins of Vappu, which are tied to Saint Walpurga, an English missionary who was canonized as a saint. We learned about her life, including her work in establishing monasteries and churches, as well as her reputation for helping those in need. We also delved into the modern-day celebrations of Vappu, which include wearing white caps, enjoying monkey, Finnish donuts, and drinking sima, a traditional Finnish drink. These celebrations have evolved over time, but continue to honor the spirit of community and springtime renewal. Additionally, we explored the connection between Saint Walpurga and the celebration of May Day in other parts of the world, particularly in Sweden and Germany. We discussed how her influence has spread beyond Europe, impacting celebrations in the United States as well. Overall, our journey today highlighted the rich history and cultural significance of Vappu, offering us a deeper understanding of this festive holiday and its enduring traditions.
Yeah, and don't forget the part of Chicago that we spoke of in the beginning of the podcast.
Of course, in addition to our exploration of Vappu, we also discussed the city of Chicago and its historical significance. We touched on its past connections to the mafia and its role in the civil rights movement, particularly the work of Martin Luther King Jr. Chicago's history is rich and complex, with influences from various cultures and movements that have shaped its identity. Our discussion highlighted the city's resilience, and its ongoing efforts to promote equality and justice for all.
Yeah, I give you 6 out of 10 in that Chicago summary because we only touched or mentioned Martin Luther King, and we focused more on the bombing and the butterfly effect that led up to the workers' rights
Fair enough.
movement.
Let's delve a bit deeper into Chicago's history. Known for its architectural marvels, Chicago has a rich cultural tapestry that includes its significant role in the civil.
Yeah, Sky is now slightly tired. Yeah, usually the artificial intelligence does a good job at summarizing these, but now for some reason, she or it forgot the Chicago part. Adding to the Vappu and Saint Walpurga topics, in the beginning of the podcast we discussed about Chicago and the movement regarding workers' rights in general. Quite interesting. For real, for me. You learn a lot as you do this podcast. So now, as we always do, we trying to find a place to land, and we did not manage to do it. Was it in Chicago? The highway? That did not work. So there's a field. I'm gonna try up on the hill here. I mean, I am quite alright in the elevation. Cut the engines. Oh, there's trees. Ooh, between the trees. No, my left wing. Sorry for screaming. Those who have earbuds or something, terribly sorry. It was close again. But hey, did not manage. Thank you, sincerely. Thank you. We are found as audio podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podchaser. And entire retreat is also found as this gameplay podcast with the actual gameplay footage playing as we adventure forth with the help of these topics on YouTube. So yeah, like, subscribe, share, comment. What did you like? Something you didn't like, and so on. And see you in the next one. Thank you.